David Miller was not hiding. He was not running. He was doing exactly what he had done every morning for the past 8 years. At 6:30 a.m., David clocked in at the packaging factory on the edge of town. He put on his safety gloves, nodded at his coworkers, and started his shift. To everyone around him, it was just another normal workday. At 7:12 a.m., 2 police cars pulled into the factory parking lot. Workers stopped. Machines slowed. People stared. A supervisor walked toward David with a confused look on his face. "David, there are officers here asking for you." David wiped his hands on his uniform and walked out calmly. He had nothing to hide. The officers asked him to confirm his name. Then one of them said words that changed his life forever. "David Miller, you are under arrest in connection with an armed robbery and homicide." Handcuffs clicked shut in front of his coworkers. David didn't resist. He didn't shout. He only said one thing: there must be a mistake. The arrest. At the police station, David was placed in a small interview room. No windows, a metal table, a camera in the corner. An officer read him his Miranda rights. "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." David listened carefully. He believed the truth would protect him. Detectives entered with printed photos from a grainy CCTV camera. A man wearing a dark jacket. The image was unclear, but the body type looked similar. "This is you," one detective said. David shook his head. "That's not me. I was at work." The detectives exchanged looks. "We've heard that before." The interrogation. The questioning lasted hours. They asked the same questions again and again. They told him witnesses had identified him. They said the evidence was strong. Then the tone changed. "If you cooperate, things go easier. If you keep denying, the charges get worse." David asked for a lawyer. Hours later, a public defender arrived. Tired, overworked, polite, but distant. "Just answer what you must," the lawyer whispered. "This system doesn't like silence." David realized something important that night. The system was not looking for the truth. It was looking for a conclusion. The charges. The next morning, David was formally charged. Armed robbery. First-degree murder. Bail was denied. He was transferred to county jail. From his cell, David watched time slow down. Days blended into nights. Nights blended into fear. His family tried to visit. His mother cried. His father stayed silent. The news reported his arrest. A local factory worker arrested in deadly robbery case. To the public, the story was already written. The courtroom. 3 months later, the trial began. David sat at the defense table, wearing a borrowed suit. Across from him sat the prosecution, confident and prepared. They presented the CCTV footage. They presented a witness who believed the suspect looked like David. They presented timelines that almost matched. Almost. The defense tried to explain the flaws. The blurry footage. The lack of DNA. The missing fingerprints. But doubt had already settled. The jury looked at David not as a man, but as a possibility. After 6 hours of deliberation, the verdict was read. Guilty. David's knees weakened. The judge spoke clearly and calmly. "David Miller, you are sentenced to 25 years to life." The gavel struck. Just like that, his life ended. Prison years. Prison does not care if you are innocent. David learned that quickly. He learned when other inmates looked at his charges. He learned when guards treated him like a number. He learned when letters from home slowly stopped coming. Strikingly, years passed. His mother died during his 4th year inside. He was not allowed to attend the funeral. His father's health failed. David could only listen through short phone calls. Inside prison, David kept his head down. He read law books. He wrote letters to innocence organizations. Most were never answered. Hope became dangerous. The break in the case. 10 years later, a young investigative journalist named Rachel Collins found the case. She noticed something others had ignored. The jacket in the CCTV footage had a unique tear on the sleeve, a detail never mentioned in court. Rachel requested enhanced footage using modern technology. The image became clearer. The man in the video was not David. Different walk, different posture, different face. She published her findings. The story exploded. The truth revealed. Police reopened the case. This time, they followed the evidence instead of pressure. Within weeks, another suspect was identified, a man with a criminal history who owned the exact same jacket. When arrested, he confessed. He had committed multiple robberies during those years. David's name had simply been convenient. Freedom too late. The court overturned the conviction. David was released after 10 years. Cameras waited outside the prison gates. "Do you forgive the system?" a reporter asked. David paused. "The system didn't hate me," he said. "It just didn't care enough to be right." He walked away a free man. But freedom felt unfamiliar. No job, no family, no years returned. The state offered compensation, money, as if money could buy time. The final truth. Today, David lives quietly. He avoids crowds. He avoids news cameras. Sometimes he visits schools and speaks to students. He always ends with the same sentence. "Crime didn't destroy my life. The system did." And that is the truth many are afraid to face.